Hee Jin resigns. But what does that mean for the future of NewJeans? Hanni's workplace harassment case closed? Ningning allegedly disrespecting Christianity? Question mark. ILLIT's Yunah just can't get your break, and so much more in today's episode of Totally Legit K-pop News with me, Angelina. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. But without further ado, did I miss anything? I don't think of it. Without further ado, let's get into today's K-pop news, which happens to be quite juicy. Of course, everybody loves. I think a lot of people are annoyed by now by the HYBE versus Ador feud, which is now kind of HYBE and new Ador versus Hee Jin and NewJeans. So let's actually get into that. Starting with Hanni. We all remember that Hanni attended the National Assembly to talk about workplace harassment. Now, that was like a huge deal, right? Now, this was a complaint put in by fans. Fans made this complaint after NewJeans' emergency live stream. So, in response to this complaint, right? Okay. You know, just to say that this might not be the end of it, right? Because this is a complaint put in by fans. They're basically saying it is difficult to view her as a worker under the Labor Standards Act. This isn't really surprising, right? Because the current CEO of Ador, Kim Ji-young, actually went viral for saying artists are not workers. Now, that was kind of taken out of context, right? But she basically meant that under the law, idols and their contracts are different than, let's say, an employee of a company. It's different, and that's what she meant. But before we get into Kim Ji-young and what she had said, let's see why this was dismissed, essentially. Or rather, let's see why the case was quote-unquote closed by the Ministry of Employment and Labor. So they're saying basically an employee offers labor to a business or workplace for the purpose of earning wages. So it's a subordinate relationship to the employer. So idols don't really fit into that. Idols are considered equal parties, not a subordinate of the company. Idols are not subject to the same rules as company staff. Idols share activity-related costs with the company. It's interesting to see this, right? That like they're basically saying that idols are on the same level as like the company. But let's keep going. Idols receive a share of profits rather than wages. Idols pay taxes as business income instead of salary or wages. Idols assume both profit and losses from their activities. It's kind of, to me, it kind of sounds like they're saying idols are the same as CEOs, and that's why they're not protected under certain laws, if that makes sense. Well, it's interesting because we're going to talk about how idols are treated later, because there's specific stories that are being brought back up about, you know, of course, idols mistreatment. So it's interesting to see how mistreated idols can be, but yet they're considered on the same level. So yeah, this fan-filed complaint has since been closed. Now, moving back to what Kim Ji-young had originally said that went viral, that was kind of taken out of context about how artists are not workers, right? Here's the full thing of what she had said. I know that celebrities are not considered workers in the strictest legal sense. However, it is not important whether they are workers or not, but because we are a company that works closely with artists, it is very important that artists and employees work together with mutual respect. We have internal guidelines and regular trainings. We do a lot of work to internalize it into the organization. Like, in terms of responses to this, there are a lot of people who understand. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, the contracts are different. All of the things that I was outlining before makes sense. You know, they are sharing in the profits that they're making. You know, they are taking in either losses or wins, all that jazz. So a lot of people are like, it's understandable, but there's like changes still need to be made, right? It's true that she's not an employee. The HYBE maids are going insane in the comments. Ew, the article's demographics. If we bind celebrities with labor laws, do you think they'll agree to the 52-hour work week? The president is pushing for an 80-hour work week policy right now. They'd probably prefer to work intensively when it's busy and rest when things are slower. Travel time is also included as labor, but it's funny seeing people who strongly oppose the push for legalizing this when it was first proposed, now supporting the idea of recognizing Hanni as a legal worker. Just pick one, make up your mind. Hanni fighting, let's take this opportunity to change the laws. I don't know what HYBE means. The HYBE fans' agenda is so funny in the comments. It's clear which comment is trying to bully her here. She may not be an employee, but this doesn't erase the fact that she was bullied. Korea is freaking embarrassing. Hanni isn't considered an employee by law, but they're not saying that the bullying never happened. They just want to dilute the situation. Then go make your own laws efforts. Now, I did see also some tweets about this, basically asking why people are celebrating this. This could happen to your idols too. Like, changes need to be made. Overall, a lot of people are understanding of the fact that, okay, legally, she's not an employee technically, but some changes need to be made, right? Certain fandoms will see this as a win, but you need to wake up and realize that your favorite idols aren't seen as human workers. This is why mistreatment is so common and overlooked in the industry. Why are some people celebrating this? It's not a good thing that they don't consider idols as workers, and that applies to other artists too in the industry. Not even acknowledging workplace harassment because they don't see idols as workers is very concerning. And this is the reason idols are afraid to speak up, because there's absolutely no law that protects them from labels preying on them. So essentially they're saying no idol has any rights that a regular worker would have because they signed an exclusive contract, and confuse how idols are not considered workers. Where are the labor laws set in place to protect them? This industry is so cooked. So, it's not that it's legal to bully people in the workplace, or to rather bully idols in the workplace, just not under that specific law, labor law, right? But this has brought up, instances of idols being mistreated in the past. So a bit of a warning, we're going to be talking about not eating and the consequences of that. Out of 10 female trainees, 8 of them don't have periods. These are words from an entertainment agency's rookie development team. Now, this wouldn't be anything that we didn't know before. Idols have come out so many times saying basically that they weren't allowed to eat. They had to lose a certain amount of weight before their debut, or they wouldn't debut, that they were weighed all the time. Like, we have so many idol testimonies of how they were treated either before their debut or even during their whole entire careers, right? We have these stories, and sometimes they're told in funny ways, like, oh, such and such idol had to sneak me food. We've heard of this before. We know the reality of it, right? Look at what happened with 50/50. 50/50 does come to mind with this, especially with their lawsuit and things they alleged in their lawsuit as well, right? Like they're saying 8 out of 10 female trainees don't get their periods. This is a statement from a person working in the rookie development team of an entertainment company, waking up at 5 a.m. and returning home at 2 a.m., living on just water for a week to lose weight. Such is the life of trainees in the entertainment industry. This brings me back to Momo of Twice, who was talking about, how she had to lose a certain amount of weight before debut, and how like her story sounded so scary. Of course it was scary. Continuing on this story, most of them don't get their periods, they don't eat, and only exercise during their growth period. There is no healthy dieting system here. They're just told to reach their target goal. When they don't get their periods, the kids actually prefer it. It's more convenient for them. Young girls who don't go to school thinking nothing of the fact that they don't get their periods. There's no education here, the person said. So this is somebody's testimony, right? And they're going by the name Kain, which is not her real name, but she was a trainee for 7 years. If my weight was even a little higher than the previous day, I couldn't go home. I had to stand in punishment in front of the staff until I reached my target weight. As this lifestyle repeated, I reached a point where I had to be hospitalized from eating just a little. I lived with gastroenteritis. While there are countless children suffering physically and mentally, there is no one to take care of them. This kingdom is neither a school nor a company because entertainment is not a school. There is no obligation to care for them. Since trainees are not recognized as workers, they are not in an employment relationship with the company. They are made to train and punished, but there is no obligation to follow labor laws. So of course people are bringing this up because if you don't have an employee-employer relationship with someone, it does leave it open to take advantage of the lack of labor laws, right? And of course I don't know everything about the labor laws. I don't know much about the labor laws, but again, we're just reading testimony here. I met with No Hyeran, a former member of the girl group Brave Girls, to hear about life as an idol and trainee. 15 years old, she practiced until early morning every day after school. It was common for her to stay up all night and then go to school. This was the daily routine of Hyeran. To increase her practice time, she moved into Koshilon, a small shared dormitory near the company. She nurtured her dreams in a cramped room that smelled musty. Practice time was also dream time. It was the most exciting time, running toward an unknown world. She spent 3.5 years like this. At 19, she was finally given the opportunity to debut. Standing at 170 centimeters, Hyeran was constantly pressured about her weight. Baby fat was not allowed in front of the camera. Dieting was prioritized over skills. The schedule was also demanding. During busy periods, her day ran from 7 a.m. to 5 a.m. the next day, she only had 2 hours of sleep. So I remember a story, and this was about like Miss Korea or something. I believe it was about Miss Korea. And she was quite tall, but like the beauty standards for weight don't take into consideration your height. This is what I understood from the documentary that I saw about Miss Korea or whatever. So based on her height and weight, people were saying that she was overweight or like she was too fat, quote unquote. But like according to her height, it was perfectly fine. It's a specific number on the scale, whether you're taller or shorter, it has to be that specific number. Her story does continue on. Essentially, it seems she was hospitalized as well. But yeah, this is being brought up again because specifically of the labor laws or lack of labor laws between employees and between idols and their companies. It's a different set of rules for them. But of course, let me know what you think about all of this. So then it was announced that Hee Jin would be resigning from her position as internal director at Ador. So she released a statement and Ador also released a statement. So let's start with Hee Jin's statement. Today, I am resigning from my position as internal director at Ador. Additionally, I am terminating the shareholder agreement with HYBE and intend to hold HYBE legally accountable for breaches of this agreement. We've all heard of this infamous shareholder agreement that she was supposed to be CEO for 5 years or whatever the case may be. She is now terminating this shareholder agreement. I hope I got that right. Furthermore, I will be taking necessary legal action one by one against the numerous illegal activities committed by HYBE and its affiliates. Despite the hellish dispute lasting over 7 months with HYBE, which began with HYBE's illegal audit in April, I have done everything in my power to uphold the shareholder agreement and restore Ador to its state before April. However, HYBE has neither acknowledged its wrongdoings nor shown any signs of change, leading me to conclude that further efforts would be a waste of time. Of course, legal action would be taken. This is not the end. Every time we think maybe it's the end, this is not the end. I feel like this is kind of only just the beginning. Continuing on, I had hoped HYBE would admit its mistakes and worked tirelessly to protect NewJeans within HYBE, which has become twisted. This is why I sent internal whistleblowing emails twice in April. However, instead of reflecting, HYBE fabricated absurd falsehoods and publicly displayed their shameful illegal audit, an unprecedentedly foolish act. They framed me, a minority shareholder and CEO, with the bizarre accusations of management takeover and launched ignorant and irrational attacks that are hard to believe came from a large corporation. As we all remember, that's basically what started all this, right? HYBE accusing her of wanting to go independent. After numerous twists and turns, it has finally become clear that my whistleblowing was based on undeniable facts and was a legitimate report, while HYBE's ugly lies and hypocrisy are being exposed one by one. In fact, HYBE likely knew from the beginning that the contents of my whistleblowing were all true and that my concerns were legitimate. However, for those who prioritize their own interests and advancement, the essence of problem solving was a task they most wanted to avoid. I did not expect them to repent, but I believed they would at least have the minimum level of conscience as human beings, which now seems to have been a naive misjudgment. There's a lot of fighting words here. Just as merely breathing does not mean one is truly alive, I did not want to cling to money and settle into this twisted organization. HYBE has continued to use its subsidiary labels to engage in unreasonable lawsuits, nitpicking and unfair media play to bury me, while hypocritically presenting a producing delegation contract filled with toxic clauses as if they were doing me a favor. So when she was removed as CEO, of course, she was offered to come back as an internal director because HYBE didn't want her to be, of course, they didn't want her to be CEO, but they wanted to change the way Ador was functioning. Ador used to have her as the CEO and internal director, and no other of their subsidiary labels worked like that. They didn't want that anymore. Of course, they didn't want her to be CEO, but of course, they also didn't want Ador to work like that either. They insisted on discussing the R&R roles and responsibilities, the core of the delegation contract, while simultaneously demanding incomprehensible conditions like forensic consent before the discussion and only insisting on face-to-face meetings without providing the R&R document, which was an incomprehensible stance. Despite having unilaterally dismissed me, they spread false information to the media that I stepped down as CEO to take on producing duties. It no longer surprises me that those who spread false information demand confidentiality from others with such shamelessness. This is, the big statement that she made that I'm seeing everywhere in the headlines. HYBE's actions in 2024 will be recorded as an unprecedented incident in K-pop history. I've actually seen different iterations of this, not just HYBE's, like, this seems like a more tame way of saying it. I've also seen the atrocities committed by HYBE will be recorded as an unprecedented story in the history of K-pop. I feel like there are more dramatic iterations of this, I think, as well. So that was like the big statement, right? Over the past 7 months, I have poured all my mental, economic, and physical resources into reviving Ador, which was devastated by HYBE's severe breaches of the shareholder agreement. This shareholder agreement that has since been officially terminated by her. It was a hellish battle against the baseless violence of a group disguised as a large corporation, but I did not back down and made every effort. HYBE's moral decay has reached its peak, and although their dirty media play will continue, I'm not worried because the public has likely become aware of their patterns. Nevertheless, if there are any forces or media that unjustly slander me, I will not stand by and will take legal action. This unprecedented incident is not over yet, but I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to many people, including Bunny, NewJeans fan name, who have tirelessly supported and cheered me for nearly half a year. Has it only been half a year? I feel like this has gone on for like a whole year. I'm like, no, it's been more than a year. That's how I feel. But anyways, ironically, this fight with the worst company, I have met the best people, which is a special fortune. Some may not understand why I have endured this far, but there is a reason and meaning for someone like me to exist in the world. Here's another part that people are like, oh, this means NewJeans are literally going to leave HYBE and continue on with Hee Jin. I hope you will continue to show interest in my new journey in K-pop. I conclude this message with a sense of relief, sharing these words with some people. One person's malicious actions should never tarnish the essence of the profession. This is truly wrong. So what do you guys think about that? I hope you will continue to show interest in my new journey in K-pop. Obviously, she's not backing down from the K-pop world. She's just backing down from Ador. Well, not even back. She's just, resigning from Ador, but not backing down from Ador, if that makes sense. The legal stuff is not going to end. It's just, in my opinion, beginning, right? So Ador also released a statement. Ador feels regrettable about the unilateral resignation notice from director Hee Jin. Our company will do our utmost to support NewJeans so that they can continue to grow and develop further. So for Ador, they're like, well, NewJeans is staying. We're going to keep supporting NewJeans. But people are really taking issue with the unilateral resignation notice. I've also heard other translations say like one-sided, like it's a one-sided resignation notice. Of course, there are a lot of people happy for her, supporting her, but there are, on the other hand, a lot of people celebrating her leaving Ador. Here's what some K-netizens think about the whole resignation thing, Ador's statement, and Hee Jin. Go ahead and throw a tantrum like a maniac. Yeah, you better get ready to respond to the content certification document. Counterfeit or not, apologize with your life, you effers. Jung, don't you get tired of lying every time you open your mouth? Jung is, of course, the current CEO of Ador. One-sided, lol. Here's a statement from Hamburg Entertainment. Stop acting crazy and quit the reverse viral nonsense, you lunatics. This is in regards to Hee Jin. You will definitely win the claim. Hwaiting, get all the money you can and leave. Hwaiting, hwaiting, hwaiting. That's right, get your bag, hwaiting. Squeeze them dry. Congrats on your resignation. Let's take the money and leave. She earned them so much money. Of course she has got to get this. Reporter Dia, of course they have to give it to her. Hope she gets her bag and quits. So of course on one hand we have people very supportive of Hee Jin. That tends to be, from what I've seen, the K-netizen side to all this. But then we have people also, celebrating the fact that she is leaving. I came across this tweet. Hello, I'm Hee Jin. Today I'm resigning from the board of directors, and someone just responded with like a crowd of people cheering. And then, other people of course blaming her. Are we forgetting that the audit happened because you and your execs caught plotting a management takeover and tried to bury the issue by dragging other HYBE artists left and right? This woman is insane. So a lot of things along that nature. People celebrating, people happy that she's finally leaving, though this of course doesn't seem to be the end. I mean, I've definitely seen a lot of everything, just so nobody accuses me of only showing the positive Hee Jin side. There are people really happy that she's leaving, okay? But then, the last video, someone was like, I can't believe you platformed such and such. And it's because I read somebody's tweet. I'm like, I don't know who these people are. So sometimes I'm like, should I be reading these tweets? Because some of you guys are like, I know this person and that person's problematic. And like, I don't know any of these people on Twitter. I don't know them. So I don't know. There was then this whole thing about her exercising her put options, which from what I've read is her selling part of her, like the stake, not the stakes, the shares that she owns in the company, and she could make money off of that. But it seems that she filed a claim to cash in her put options, which is to sell her stocks at a specific price or before a specific date. So she filed this, of course, the day of her resignation, but there are rumors of her doing this before today, before this all happened. So she'd be able to earn profits after leaving the company. If she exercises her put options as per her shareholder agreement, she will be able to receive an amount equivalent of 75% of her stake in HYBE, which is 13 times the average operating profit of the past 2 years. So following her resignation, people have been paying a lot of attention to what she's been doing on social media. Most notably, she unfollowed everyone. So she unfollowed NewJeans, she unfollowed Ador. She's at 0 following right now. So here we can see in this screenshot, she also posted this resignation with a cute little bunny. And she also posted this to her story, basically free. And then I've seen a lot of people on Twitter also say, like, this is your reminder to unfollow Ador on every platform. But that's basically where we're at with this whole HYBE versus Ador feud, which turned into HYBE and New Ador versus Hee Jin and NewJeans. So what does this mean for NewJeans? I've seen a lot of people say that this literally this is proof that NewJeans are now going to leave. Of course, they put in their thing that they have, that HYBE or Ador has 14 days to rectify any contract violations. And of course, their whole goal was to have Hee Jin come back as CEO. But now that she's just completely leaving, she's resigned from her position. What does it mean? Are NewJeans really going to officially try to leave? Is this going to be years long in the making? What do you think is going to happen to NewJeans? I mean, it's like two options, right? Either they just give up their fight with this and just continue with Ador, or they fight like hell and try to get out of all of this, which of course will be super, super messy. Well, I've mentioned this before, like this feels like a game of chicken to see who is going to give up first. And HYBE seems really strong in their views, and NewJeans seem very strong in their views as well. So did you guys see that viral tweet of Ningning? Well, basically aespa, and they're like praying, but then Ningning just like stops and takes a bite of whatever she was eating. I'm going to show you the tweet, and then we're going to, discuss some of the backlash that she received for this. Because for the most part, it went viral because it was funny. People thought it was cute, Here's the video. So there's people saying, like, Ningning, my atheist queen, they're like praying, and the Ningning is like, maybe not, I mean, she went for it. Like, she put her hands together and everything. She went for it, So there was this tweet I saw, Ningning, my atheist queen. Then the big cross across her necklace makes this funnier. So, a lot of people thinking that it's really funny, but then it seems that some people thought that it was disrespectful to Christianity. Here's some of the backlash. The way I'll disrespect Christianity is insane. I don't understand why people find this funny when her behavior should be considered as disrespectful. No one bats an eye when this group disrespects Christians. Not to be too woke, but some of y'all are really weird about religion and religious people in general. Some people saying that it's disrespectful. So, of course, let me know what you think about that. I mean, in the video we just saw, she this is my perspective as someone who's not religious, nothing like that. But I mean, she went for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, she put her hands together and everything. She just didn't pray as long as everyone else. I don't know. Is it disrespectful to do that? Like, do you need to pray as long as everybody else? Like, what if she is religious and she just like prayed it for a shorter amount of time? Do you know what I mean? Let me know. Now we need to talk about ILLIT's Yunah, because she can't catch a break. You already know what we're going to talk about. Her mature look. Yes, her quote-unquote mature look. She can't seem to escape it. Poor girl can't stop being called mature, that she looks mature, that her vibe just doesn't fit ILLIT. And once again, netizens are discussing her quote-unquote mature look. But that's not it. This is a two-part story here. But this is just the first part, okay? But essentially, here are some pictures of her that were recently taken, and I think it's the outfit. I think people are talking a lot about the outfit, but the mature look thing is being brought up as well. Can we scroll? Okay, well, that's besides the point, the cute little bug thing here. It was just this event. This event was like the catalyst for all of this, right? She's not really the type to stand out even in a hip style group. Her face just doesn't align with the general public's preferences. Comes off as too mature looking and overly intense. I think she would have been okay in Meow. Somehow her vibe seems to fit better with that group. She doesn't really seem like she'd suit the pure innocence concept either. But isn't the whole point of being an idol being able to pull off any concept perfectly? Why would you stick to just the ones that suit you? LOL. I like that comment because it's true. Unless they mean that in a bad way. I can't tell actually. But that's just part one of this Yunah backlash story, because it seems that she also received backlash for mentioning an SM idol. This is what she said. I really love Red Velvet's Sergi. This is official merchandise from her. I don't know if she will see this, but if we ever have promotions that overlap, I would love to film a dance challenge together and exchange numbers. So why did this receive backlash? Well, because she's from HYBE. She's from a subsidiary label under HYBE, and that seems to be what people are upset about because HYBE, literally because HYBE. Their agency has done things to SM idols, and yet they are so shameless. Their agency is really using these young girls to shield them. Regardless of whether talking about other idols was planned or not, they still left it in the video even though the media is negative towards it. I don't know if it's because their agency really did something, but mentioning them and even requesting to do a dance challenge seems so shameless. The criticism continues on. Why are they trying to involve them? Leave SM alone. It's so annoying to see this company use the girls as shields. Please read the room. They keep mentioning it in other interviews. Stop trying to involve them. Why is this group continuing to do things the public dislikes? Unfortunate for Yunah, it's just not a good time to be mentioning any idols outside of HYBE right now. I've also seen netizens kind of react to HYBE idols doing dance challenges with idols outside of HYBE. I forgot to give my disclaimer, of course. These are some reactions, not all reactions. This is not representative of everyone. Of course, there are people who think it's like perfectly more than reasonable for her to mention Sergi, like, duh. Then we have Soobin, who announced a hiatus due to health reasons. So a temporary hiatus due to health reasons, and Big Hit Music had released a statement. So let's go through the statement really briefly here. We would like to provide you with some information regarding Tomorrow X Together members Soobin's future activities. Vote in the comments. Do you say TXT, Tomorrow by Together, T by T? What do you guys say? Out of curiosity. But anyways, so it seems that he exhibited signs of being unwell, and of course they took him to the hospital where the medical staff said that he would need some time to recover. So he will be taking time to prioritize his health, of course. So they've had discussions regarding future activities with all members. Soobin himself is determined to continue with his activities. However, we felt that it would be better for him to focus on improving his health for the time being as recommended by medical staff. So because of this, he won't be participating in the Mama Awards, the Japan offline fan events, Act Promise Encore in Japan, and the Shanghai fan signing event, among other end-of-year ceremonies and activities. So of course, they apologize and ask fans for their understanding. Soobin plans to take necessary rest and maintain his daily life to return to his fans in the healthiest self again. The company will do our very best to support Soobin for him to recover and meet his fans again in good health. I feel like I added and subtracted words from that, but you get the gist, right? I can't get rid of this cookie thing, but here is his letter to fans. First, it was only a few days ago that we wrapped up our comeback promotion amidst warm support, so I'm sorry to our MOA who must have been very surprised at this sudden news. After my debut, thanks to the TXT members in MOA, I've been growing little by little every single year. As countless happy moments built up, I think I was reborn as a slightly cooler person. There are moments when I felt strongly that I wasn't in the best physical condition, but thanks to the other members in MOA, I was able to solidly push through. Thank you. After giving it deep thought, I thought that in order to be with all of you for a long time, I needed to reorganize myself. My heart feels heavy because I worry that this decision will harm everyone around me, but I spoke a lot with Yeonjun, Pyeongyu, Taehan, and Kai. I'm very sorry and grateful to the members who supported my decision. So as Big Hit were saying in their statement, like, he was determined to continue with his activities, but they were like, you need to rest, go and rest. MOA's happiness is always my top priority. Although my heart feels heavy because I worry that this news might sadden MOA, who always give me, it's Moa, right? I'm like, is it MOA? No, Moa. Who always give me only love and joy. I will recover quickly so that you don't have to wait long, and I will return in good health. Moa, I love you always. Moments of alwaysness. Is that correct? Let's move on to Kpop Shenanigans, which are basically fun little things that have happened in K-pop recently and or quick news. So, have you guys heard that the boys signed they signed to a new agency, and fans are theorizing actually that they're going to change their name to the New Boys. You know, we're all joking about NewJeans. Maybe that's not too far off. Now, of course, this is not confirmed. By any means, this is not confirmed. People just found this account and, you know, TNBZ instead of TBZ, you know? Or maybe they'll keep their old name. I don't know. Fans are just theorizing. These are all theories, right? But what do you think if they did change their name? Because I know a lot of people were also like, this is wild that they can't even keep their name. Like, they're mad at the old company. But again, this is not confirmed. But what would you think of the New Boys? So then, netizens are also discussing this celebrity that they think looks like Hyuning Kai. So what do you think? Do you think they look alike? This is Tom Welling. Hee was mistaken for Karina, apparently. Here we have it. I was wondering if it was a cosplay because she has a mole. Like, does she have a mole there? But it seems this was a Karina cosplay. And there was a video where someone said, oh, isn't that Karina? And her reaction was so cute, where she was like so excited. Like, this is her reaction where she's like so happy that someone thought she looked like Karina. And then there's the two side by side. So what do you think? I mean, personally, like, I get the vision, right? Because that's like what she wore, like that's the type of styling she wore during Up, right? But like, I don't think I would mistake her for Karina personally. But you can let me know what you think. So then, you guys have surely seen all these lookalike contests going around. Like, they had Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest, and then what's his name, the guy from Shameless. Anyways, so it seems somebody made this as like a joke, you know. Mark Lee lookalike contest, Washington Square, the prize is a watermelon, random dance play with all NCT bobs. Now it seems that it wasn't real, but then it gained so much traction, like the Korean news was talking about it, so it might end up actually being a thing. So yeah, I can't show you because it's freaking SBS, but they covered it on the news, like the whole poster and everything. But yeah, I don't know where I read like it might be a real thing now. However, it seems this contest might have been given a big push into legitimacy. So this might actually be happening. I think that would be so funny. There was also like a Jungkook lookalike contesting as well. I'm not sure if this one was like fake too, but there's so many lookalike contests coming out. I think it's interesting. So then let's talk a little bit about Rosé, because there was an article claiming, kind of implying that her success with APT was due to BTS. Recently, Blackpink's Rosé achieved a major feat by ranking 8th on the Billboard chart with her duet song APT featuring Bruno Mars. This, in a large sense, is possible because BTS paved the way in the global pop market, which was once unfamiliar with K-pop. So what do you think of that? What do you think of this article? I've seen a lot of people talking about this. But on that Rosé note, so we talked in the last video about her interview with ID Magazine. And the people, well, whoever interviewed her at ID Magazine has revealed how Rosé feels about the Rosé curse meme. So every time she's pictured with somebody, they end up breaking up. And it seems that she doesn't actually really like that narrative at all. So somebody asked, hi, I loved your interview. Were there any conversations left out the published article? So this is what the interviewer responded. So many, honestly. We spoke for nearly 2 hours in the restaurant, then did a 30-minute follow-up a couple weeks later. So there was a huge amount left on the cutting room floor. We talked a tiny bit about the Rosé curse, but she really doesn't like that whole narrative, so she didn't have heaps to say about it. You know, that's the thing. If it depends on someone's like sense of humor. If it were me, well, then again, she probably knows those people too, and probably knows of their breakups, you know, more personally than we do, right? So can you imagine like her best friend goes through like a horrendous breakup, and the internet is like, yep, Rosé's fault. Rosé did that. Okay, so then I came across this tweet and I wanted to ask you guys, because it says you have 3 tickets. Who are you seeing? And there's 12 options. So I'm gonna go, okay, NewJeans for sure. Twice in Blackpink. Singmin did a cover of 그리워해요. So then for our song of the day, I actually have two songs that I want to talk about because I've been loving Tyler's Push to Start. I think it's such a fun song. I just wanted to share this NewJeans ETA Yellow remix. I think it's so good. So those are the two songs that I've been really liking recently. Skin on my skin. Her voice is so heavenly. Oh, that is basically it for today's video. Of course, let me know what you think about everything in the comments. These are the lovely individuals who help support my channel on a monthly basis. I finally got the file from my, actually just made a new file actually, but your names are all here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate my channel members and patrons who help support this channel on a monthly basis. As for me, I'm gonna get going, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye!